record this. Okay, so here is the syllabus. Again, this is the Introduction to Game Design and Development. It is, again, game 2342. Starts today, goes to, the last day of the term is May 17th, though. We'll look at the, we'll look at that a little more. It's face-to-face and hybrid labs. So I'm going to be lecturing. Tuesday is your lecture, and Thursday is your lab. So if you want to work at home, you're perfectly fine to work. Again, you're welcome to work at home on Thursdays. Having said that, you need to be logged into Canvas on Thursdays for class. If you're not logged in, if you're not here and you're not logged in on Canvas on Thursday, you are absent. And I will call you out on that. And I need to be very clear about this. That's how this works. If you're not here, you're not on campus. You're on Discord in the virtual 251 room. I had a lot of people last year just not show up and not tell me. That's not appropriate. So, again, right here in 251 is your Tuesday noon to 2. And then Thursday is your lab, noon to 2. Course description is skill development in C++ programming for game simulation. Extremely vague. Utilize standard game libraries, examining interface exceptions, file access, random numbers, create a basic game or simulation frameworks, building upon C++ knowledge. I've got the number wrong, I think. I've got the Introduction to Game Design and Development. I think it's 1306.
No,
Is it 1303? Okay.
Yeah.
Is the older Unity one. There is another prerequisite that I don't have here, and that was the Programming Fundamentals 2 course. Because that course taught you how to use header files, how to use C++. So I don't have to teach you that in this course. So I could just jump in and talk about what Epic is doing. I understand you all went through pain and suffering with pointers.
We're gonna go for pointers again.
That suffering is good for your soul as a programmer. Bottom line. What you learned there is fundamental how you're going to be working with the C++ side of things with Unreal, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of pointers. There are going to be a lot of we're going to call them big functions, which take a lot of parameters. And you're going to have to get used to looking at those functions and understanding what the order of those parameters. We'll be reading a lot of code. All right. You will be reading a lot of code, particularly the code that you will be given to in the templates in Unreal Engine, with Unreal Engine, and we'll talk a little about that in one second. The course materials: an online PC computer, Epic Games account, install Unreal Engine. We are using 5.4. All right. There's nothing in 5.5 that we need. It's all level. It's all art stuff. If it was a level design class, I'd probably go up to 5.5. 5.5. But we don't need that. You don't need the pretties. That's what I'm going to put it at. I am an instructor. You know who I am. My office right now is in 313. That is changing. I'm being moved out of 313. I'm not sure exactly where my office is going to be specifically. It's a lot. Yeah. Having said that, I'm not in that office anyway, so don't worry about it. But you know my email address. You know how to get me on Canvas. You know how to get hold of me on Discord. So those are right now. My office hours is contact me for appointment. I gotta change that line. Right now, I believe open. I will be having open offices hours on Monday and Wednesdays, noon to 2, noon to 3 specifically. Before my class again. Those you have me, some of you will have me for IT, for the mobile development class. So it's basically the 3 hours before that class. The assignments you will expect in this is basically there's quizzes, journals. Actually, don't do journals in this class, but quizzes and journals is pretty much the same thing. Lab assignments and projects. Difference between quiz and a journal is quizzes is something. Hey, I taught you this thing, and I want you to know if you learned it. And journals are, I pick your brain on what you might be thinking about something, and it's big and fluffy, and it's open ended. The scale. No late work is allowed without the instructor's approval. Keep talk with me. It's basically what the big thing is again. There is no. I don't have any assignments that have a deadline policy. The final project might have it because it's the final project, and I'm basically saying after this date, I can't take it. Community posture. You're expected to be checking email, Canvas messages, course announcements, Discord to a certain extent as an extension. Use your student email account or the Canvas message to contact me. And that's again, that's how to get a hold of me. Asset store policy. This has changed because with Epic, they just moved all of their assets. They closed down the original asset store and rolled up something called Fab, which is basically replacing it. The idea behind Fab is that they've decided to not sell just to Unreal Engine users and to sell to, hey, here are assets. They work in Unity as well. That's kind of what they're going with. They're going with a generic asset store as opposed to the Epic branded version of it. You should not be using any assets for your purchase from asset stores without permission from me. That's basically it. Again, the integrity policy: don't cheat, don't help others cheat. AI course policy: not allowed without permission, without me asking it. I don't know if there's any AI tools out there right now for Unreal Engine. Epic hasn't gone in that direction. I know Unity has, but I don't think Epic has any crazy AI tools. There is one tool though. Again, you're allowed to use the Visual Studio AI tools, but they're not very good. You know about that. Again, we talked about attendance policy. Again, this course is being offered in person in hybrid formats. Again, if you're not going to be here in person, if you can't be here on Tuesday, get a hold of me. Be in Discord, get a hold of me. Make sure that you contact me. Let's see. Withdrawal policy: you may withdraw from a course after the. So basically, you've got until February 2nd to draw without a graded, so a complete withdrawal. You have till April 7th to withdraw with a W grade. After that, I have to give you a passing, withdrawal grade. Spring break is March 13th to 23rd. That was another holiday. I thought that was President's Day, and I thought there was another holiday. I guess not. Yeah, spring break again. That's a week. Go home, relax, or go somewhere and relax. Given how the weather is, you might go. Well, I wouldn't say Florida because Florida is frozen as well. Northern Florida is getting frozen ice today. That's fun. Yeah. Go somewhere warm. The term ends on the 17th. The final week is May 12th or 17th. You will have an assignment. You'll have a final assignment, but it will be. I'll start taking it the week before. I know several of you are in other classes, particularly Game and Simulation 2. And Game Simulation 2 is a project course, and it takes up that project is an important project. So for those of you who are in that course, you'll see that this course tapers off to the end so that you have time and breathing room to focus on that project. So you will have a final project in this course ultimately. Common policies, ADA statement, AI statement. Again, we hear all federal, local laws regarding disabilities, and we have an office that handles that. AA statement, we ran over that. This is the school's longer generic version that says basically we don't know what our AI policy is, so we were going to let it up to each instructor, division, and course to handle that. Student handbook, go read it. You'll be surprised what's in there. Student services is a handout, so there are resources for you. If you're having issues beyond just academic issues, the school can help you there. Again, questions, complaints, you know my boss. You should know my boss already. And then Debbie Hoffman is the dean up in Gainesville. So, all right. Where's the modules? So today, basically, I'm asking you to give me your Epic account username, your GitHub username, and your GitHub profile URL. These are things you should have. Expect you. What was that?
Should we create them real fast?
After I talk, yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me. It's cold outside. The other thing that you should be doing is making sure that you have Epic Unreal Engine 5.4 installed on your machine. Yeah, don't. If there's another version, uninstall it. Install 5.4. If you could do me a favor and check a second machine, that would be really helpful. So that all the machines have 5.4 here. This is a quiz for all intents and purposes. Get this done today. Like when I'm done lecturing, do this first. Get that done. This basically is going to be essentially verifies that you were here in class today, and this is basically your attendance essentially. So if you don't do this, I'm going to be chasing after you about what is going on. Again, this being an assignment, this also verifies that you are here and you've been in at least one class. So, all right. So let's look at. So one of the things I'm gonna point out is that I am rebuilding this course. Part of it is that these three. So I can actually get rid of these three assignments now, because the last two times I've had I've taught this course, I've had to teach C++ from scratch. Oh yeah, that was painful. Yes. So the pain that you went through with Fundamentals Programming 2 had to deal with that at lightning speed in this course. Yeah. Yeah. So these are the original 3 labs. These basically we weren't even dealing with Unreal. We were just learning C++. Oh boy, yeah. But yeah, now that you've gone, so we're now past that. So we can actually now dig into Unreal. All right. I know this is it. There are things that the course talks about. Let's actually go like in terms of like the description and what you should be able to do. These are all abstracted in the fact that we're going to use Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine uses for under the hood is C++. Now, the thing that we are going to have to deal with, this is one of the things that I'm going to talk about lab 2. I'm going to give you your first 2 labs right away. But so for what we're going to do in lab 1 is we're going to create a new first-person project, and we're going to make a class. We're going to make an actor. We're going to place that actor in the scene, and because it's in the scene, we run the level. The actor will do things on begin play. We're only looking about, hey, where's on begin play is our only concern right now. And basically, we're going to put information out onto the screen, and we'll put information into the log. We're going to go over that 2 ways. Go to the course modules. You've got 4 different. So your assignment is in these 2 documents right here. Just to put it. I've asked you to do a little bit more. Actually, let's go into Unreal. Let's bring Unreal Engine up. So one of the first things that we need to talk about with Unreal is that, yes, you're using Visual Studio. You are not compiling with Visual Studio. It's the first thing I want to make sure you understand. You are compiling using Epic's toolchain. You're using Epic's version of their compiler for C++ for their engine. One of the weird, I learned that from Epic themselves. They had a development day in Boston that I was able to go to, and that's one of the things I picked up. Is like, when you're just using Visual Studio to edit files. All right, and I want to go. What's up?
Has it always been that way? Like they have a separate compiler for like that?
Yeah, it's their own compiler.
Oh, okay. Since version 1?
No. This is from Unreal Engine 4. This is from Unreal Engine 4 where this came to play. So I'm just gonna bring up the browser window. I'm just gonna go C++, desktop, go do scalable. I am gonna throw in the starter content, and you don't need ray tracing. Like, it's not that ray tracing is not cool. It's just we're not gonna use anything ray tracing. That's a pretties. Let the artist play with that. Don't worry about that. We are going to. What did I said? I gave it a particular name. Yeah. So I think I have that already in use. First person. There we go. There we go.
Search on the blank template.
Did I? Oh man. All right. I'll recreate the project later. Oops. We'll come back. We won't. You won't need to. There's nothing in the first person template we're going to use this week anyway, so don't worry. And this for the first 2 labs. So it's actually compiling the source code. It's actually doing its first compile of the source code. And on my other screen, it's brought up Visual Studio. So we'll worry about that in one moment. Oh, brought up. There we go. All right. I'm just going to file. I'm going to make a new level. Do basic. Let's just save current level as sandbox. Okay. So down here is the tools for recompiling. So there's like this trace. It's this looks like a Mario block with blocks in the air. Bring up the compile options menu. And one of those has got enable live coding. Turn this off. And the reason you turn this off is that there's something it's doing that I don't fully understand.
What is live coding?
I don't know. I don't know what live coding is doing, but the issue is once we turn that off, like basically it was trying to compile things, but it could not compile them completely, and it's not a complete compile, and we would then close the editor, open things up, and classes would be gone. And that would then break blueprints. And it was just a whole slew. Yeah. So right now, for your benefit, turn that off. And when you want to compile something, you just click this button right here. So do your work, compile stuff, and then hit compile. So for our purposes right now, we're actually going to go up to, I believe, Tools, New C++ Class. We can actually go to the content draw, and there is, it'll show up in a moment. So let's make a new Tools, make a new C++ class. It will show up in its own folder. Choose parent class. We are going to pick an actor. Oh my God! Don't show me everything. What was that? Yeah, this is a new window. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been there. You just haven't used it before. So we're gonna inherit from the actor class. We'll go to the next step. Don't class type, public, private. Don't touch these. for right now where you're at. Don't touch those buttons. Basically, the only thing you do want to put in here is put in what is the actor name, and this is going to be our output example. Is going to be our name, and we're going to create the class. Right, code of the project. It's going to compile that new code. And they've added the output example class. So let me close starter content. So now we have a folder here for C++ classes. And here is the project, and here is the output example. Come on. Why is Unreal acting slow today? Close this window. Close. Hold it on. Okay. All right. There we go. So here is we actually have dropped an instance of that class into the world, and actually I go up to its details, and right now basically this is an actor that this is one of those weird things. It exists in the world. It can be placed in the world, but it has nothing in it in terms of like a mesh or anything to put it anywhere in the world. There's not, so basically it's just at 0, 0, 0 for our purposes. And like I can try and drag it, it's gonna go back to 0, 0, 0 because there's no point there's nothing visual to this object at this point. So we will look at next lab. We will create an object that has basically a static mesh to it. So yeah, we've just created our first C++ class, and I'm going to save the sandbox just because that's what we want. All right. So let's go in and let's bring. So before I go any further, so we've created a class. We need to talk about. Let's actually bring up Visual Studio for one moment. And so here is the header file for the output example. And I'm actually going to then open up the CCP project, open up source, and here is, no, that's not the source. Here it is. No, where is? Here it is. Okay, here's the .h file that's open. We also want to open up the .cpp. All right, so .h. So this is, you'll see from a generic class. Header files. And here is the class itself, and you will see that it actually. So here is the actual class name. And let me make this bigger so we can see. When you look underneath the hood inside of C++, Unreal Engine uses a prefix for objects, for classes and object names. So anything that derives from an actor is going to have an A in front of it. Anything that has a U, so your components are going to have a U in front of it. And anything that's not an actor that you're going to be using with the engine is typically going to be a U. The other weird one is they will use the F. Like these are structures such as F vector, F string, F string, vector name. So these are other like structures and other things that you'll be using. So when you're writing your code, get used to knowing that you're gonna have to. There's an A in front of it. Literally, the class is actually a output example. And again, the actual actor class is a actor. The other weird thing that Unreal is doing, it has macros all over the place. And so this is actually one of the macros they've written is uClass. And this associates this class to the engine itself. And one of the first things is got this generated body, which is a macro. Blackmagic B here. We'll talk a little bit. We're going to go over. So one of the things I have is a document about uClass and a document about uProperty. We'll go over property in 1 second. Again, here is the constructor. Here is begin play. And they have in here tick. So again, start, update. So this is the these are what was that?
I don't remember protected. Is that the same as private?
No, protected means that the children of the class can access it.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So again, let's go over that quickly. Public means it is available to, like, again your constructor by default needs to be public. So things outside of the class can access it, like the constructor and tick can be accessed outside of the class. Begin play is protected, so children of the class can use it. These are also set to be overridden as well. They're virtual. They're set up to be virtual. So if we inherit from this class, those functions can be overridden by the children of the class. And as it is already, these are, I think, overriding things in the actor class itself. So let's take a look at the CPP file. And they basically have the constructor. And basically they're saying that this is can ever tick. So this is set actor. This is saying this actor can tick. Begin play, it's calling the parent begin play in the actor class. And this is one of those, don't, when you start writing things, writing code in your class, like don't get rid of these. Particularly with the begin play and in the tick. Unless you know why you're getting rid of the super for begin play or the super for the tick, you shouldn't be getting rid of them. And again, here is the function for begin play, function for tick. All right. So we need to talk about the uClass macro and the uProperty macro. All right. So you're going to notice that your textbook. So this is a website called Romero. It's Romero Blueprints. Romero is an author. In fact, where's the book? Yeah, this is the book. I'm actually going to look. This is a book from Pack Publishing that he wrote. He also got a mega epic grant, so an Evel development grant.
So what is he?
So basically, he's an educator, basically.
So he like shows us like how to do blueprints the good way?
Yeah, he did. Well, not the good way. No, he wrote a book about no, not the good way. We'll talk about. So you know how some of you may have seen the original slides. Was those his slides? I think so. But he does he does some things in this book to teach things, but I have issues with because they're not outdated. He goes in a particular way. He goes around the beaded path. He goes the back roads over bumps and curves for no good reason. He does some things which I'm like, why would you do that?
Okay, I got it.
And so like your coin collection game, like for example, the coin collection game that you guys did is highly changed from what's in this book.
Got it.
So yeah, it's not that again.
Can you give an example?
He has this idea of there's a level that as you pick up coins, you gain points and you get a level, and that level then translate into scoring, and it's convoluted.
Okay.
Yeah. Like he's like, yeah, we should be able to translate rules to code, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but you'd never do something like that unless you had a very specific reason to do that.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Let's go to uClass. And so basically that's part of the Unreal Reflection System. Necessary for class to recognize Unreal's editor, and you can use memory management in the C++ class. Hooray! Is there anything else? No, not really. Just know, basically the big thing with uClass, again, is connecting the code you're writing with this class to the engine itself. And you're going to see so there's uClass, there is uProperty, and uFunction. We're going to go over, again, I'm showing you, pointing out class right now, because, generated body. Again, magic happens here. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, that's happening underneath the hood, that this is connecting to the engine itself. Don't touch this, is basically what's going on. If you're adding things to the class, you're going to be adding, I believe, like this is the last one that's added. So you're basically going to add after, like here's actor. If you need something, you need to add it after actor. We haven't gotten into the scenario where we need to add add a reference to to another class in here using the include. So don't worry. Right now has parameters that are known as class specifiers. Blueprintable, contains blueprints can be created using the C++ as a parent class. And the C++ class can be used as blueprint type and blueprint printable. Do they have an example? Yeah, here we go. U class, blueprintable, blueprint type. So basically, we're saying here is, hey engine, you can create a blueprint class based on this class, and then you can then also say, hey, you can make a variable of this class in blueprint. And and I'm actually going to go in. I'm actually going to, sake of argument right now, I'm going to grab this right here. I'm actually going to go back to .h. I'm actually going to put that in right here. I got all sorts of crazy stuff showing up. And I'm going to save that. And I'm actually going to go and I'm going to recompile. And now that I've done that, I can go to my content draw. I can go to the class right here, and I can create a C++ blueprint class based on the output example. And I'm just going to name I'm going to do BP output example. And I'll create the, yep. Now I can go to the content draw, and here is the blueprint class. And where is the window popping up? Here we go. So here we go. Hooray! Here is my blueprint class, and here is default scene root. And it'll say, we can go and be like, hey, we'll add a cube. Hooray, I've added a cube. I'll compile it, I'll go back to the sandbox, and go to content draw, and hooray. Here is, and it is floating because the cube is floating. So don't worry about that. And again, because now I have something that's actually there, I can move it around. So we'll talk about what's going on, about why that's happening more later on. But here's my output example, and here is my BP version of it. And this is one of the things I want to be very clear is that you're going to be wanting to, a lot of what you're going to do is that you're going to have a C++ class, and then on top of that, you'll have a blueprint class on top of it to fill out things. So like, for example, this blueprint class has a static mesh. All right. This is one of the you'll make a projectile. You'll make the basic of the projectile, and then you'll be like, okay, throw it to the blueprint to determine what the visual model of that is. And this is what set the animation stuff on there. So as much this is a course about using C++, it's about using it with the Unreal Engine, and it's using Unreal Engine 5. And what that means is that you are going to go back and forth between Blueprint and C++, and the goal of this course is to make you comfortable be able to write C++ code and turn around and do something with Blueprint. Do something in Blueprint and push that down to C++, so that you take the advantages of both and use them. You need to use both together in this engine. That's where it's gone. And that's what this course is, giving you the foundation to like, hey, here's how I would do something in C++. And one of the things we're going to do there's going to be a moment in your next tutorial where that's not going to be the case. We'll talk about that. There's an older way of working with the engine. And there is the Unreal Engine, early Unreal Engine 4 and earlier. And then there is late Unreal Engine 4 and Unreal Engine 5 way of working with the engine. And my goal in the goal of this class and my goal to teach you is how to navigate C++ and Blueprint together, back and forth. All right, and so that you can ask, should I have done this in C++? Can I do this in Blueprint? All right. So, been talking a while. Are there any questions? Anything that's come up that I haven't explained? Hey, what was that, Professor Wallach?
Question.
Yep.
So, when we make a blueprint class from our C++ class, whenever we edit the blueprint class, does it change the
No.
other one?
No. Think
They're
of
separate
when you
things.
make a Blueprint class from a C++, you are making a child.
Okay. So
It is inheritance. So remember when in the last class we made, like in the coin collection game, we made a base class for the coin, for all the collectibles, and then we inherited off of them. The other one was we did a interactable class, and then we inherited off of that inheritable class. For each of the children did something different. That same thing. It's just instead of them being Blueprint classes, we're now starting the parent class is a C++ class.
Gotcha.
And that's what you'd be thinking. That's what's going on. So we are inheriting the C++ class into a Blueprint class, and then basically finishing the class for whatever purposes we want, or setting it up to be inherited again for other classes.
So if we make a variable in the C++ class and then we compile it, can we use that variable in the blueprint class?
Yes, and that's the next thing we're going to go over. Yep, that's the next thing I'm going over. So I'm going to close the. The thing that we need to deal with is that it's a U property. If you're using an integer, use an int32. So we're not going to go through here. There's 6 specifiers. Basically, the big ones is instant only, default only, visible anywhere, edit instant only, edit default only, and then edit anywhere. So these are this basically where is it read only? Is it editable? Is basically the question. Basically, for you, a lot of it is going to be edit anywhere. Edit instance only, so editable appears in the instance properties window. Edit default only, editable in the blueprints editor properties window. Most of the time you're going to be using edit anywhere. It can be Windows, blueprint editor. That's the most, again, visible anywhere. You can see it, but you can't adjust it. For our purposes, they're like dealing with an int32 special ID. For our purposes, let's go back to the assignment for one moment. I actually asked you to create, and I've done this I've written these in like a C# style. I've done an int16. I don't know why I've done that. But basically what we've got, a public string output message, int16. We'll come back to the string in one moment. Float range editor, and then a vector. We'll come back and we'll set those up. But basically, and I'm going to bring these into the public section here. In 32. U property. There we go. And I've done this. I've typed it wrong. Let's go grab it. Back to the studio. These are going to yell about.
Was it all caps for the U property?
Yep, thank you. But I'm gonna go through here. I'm just gonna grab this. This will be a bool. Let's go back to the. Let me just grab all of these.
Hey, what about me capitalize make it lowercase? The rules.
What was that?
Like the rules were once
I copied and pasted from the. If you look in the I basically copied all of this from the assignment.
okay.
And again, this is why you put variables on their own, each on their own line. It's because we need to do the U property for each of these individually. So this is why you don't I could do bool all of these, but they're not going to be connected to the engine properly. So now, what we've got here right now, I've got essentially 3 booleans and an integer. I'm going to save all of this. I'm going to go back to Unreal. I'm going to close this content browser. And then I will compile. And you can see now that I've got, that integer range here and all these booleans now. And it's under the output example right now. You will see that there's more you can do with, let's go back to, so here is, they've got edit anywhere, and then you can do a category. And I'm just going to jump back in and category. I'm going to put these in here, and then I'll make this category and again, I'm in this U property, which is a macro, so we're dealing with oddity here. So we go back to Unreal, it can compile. And you can see here is that this group right now, message control, has put these values here, and then object values I've got down here. So I can put these into categories. I can set those categories myself to control how they're being. And again, I'm just showing this to you right now. Not part of the assignment, but useful. It'd actually be useful. Actually, would be useful to know. So I've got these. And again, I'm going to go back to the output example, and you can see that same thing here. Any questions so far about where we're at the moment? Again, I can go in, I can just rename. Place actor. So it's showing you again the blueprint actor. So now that we've set this up, let's go back to the assignment one more time. I will change this to int32. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to jump back to the screen and log in UE3. So here is, again, right to the Unreal documentation. Log is saved in a text file, hooray. Basically, there's window stuff, and this is the log. And here is log temp warning, hello world. And here is the line of code, UE log, so it's a macro. Log temp, again, this is they're doing it at the warning level, and then there is this text macro. All right.
I hate someone.
Yep, go ahead. It's the third parameter is text the format of a string, literal and style of the CCC input printf. So, verbosity, basically what levels of the system. So they did warning. Prints a warning to the console and log file. Command lets. There's a normal log. So there's different levels of verbose that what they get. Prints a message to the console and to the log file. Display log. So prints a message to the log file, but not into the console. So fatal. Crashes even if logging is disabled. Prints an error to the console and the log file. So there's different levels of what we're doing here. You were probably going to use display most of the time as opposed to warning. Again, warning is basically just a warning to the console. This is highlighted out. So let's actually go grab the hello world rather than being a warning. So let's go to our code. Let's go to output, and this will be in our begin play. And I will then go back to Unreal. I'll compile again. And if I press play, and I bring up the output log window, you can see that I've got two hello worlds because I've got two instances of the class. And so the blueprint, basically ran the same code. So I'm actually going to go in. I'm going to go to I'm going to go back and I'll compile. I'll press play, and you can go to here is and now in this case they're not warnings. They're just regular other text. How to help right now? You can look by log temp. You can see the previous ones. Again, you could also you can put things into your log to help, like, hey, I'm looking for this particular message. So again, lots of stuff going on here with Unreal. Lots of things are being put into the log. Get warning. So it's giving you all sorts of things going on. All right, so let's go back. Let's go look at velocity. So logging fundamental types. Why is it? So for our purposes, basically, the F string. Let's go do each of these types. So we're going to log these into the. So we're going to create. Make an F string output. And we're actually going to grab the U property, and we're going to basically put this at anywhere object and an object values. So we're just going to keep doing that. I'm actually going to do. I'm going to go and compile. And you can see that now I've got my greetings program. So for that example, let's go into, let's copy the full snippet. And we're going to jump back to CPP, and then we will, so it's UE log. I'm actually going to just use display. text actor name is, and in this case, it's going to example actor get name. For our purposes, it's going to be output message. Watch me. There we go. Press play. You can see the actor's name is Greetings Program. Let's go back, and so this is using what's called again C and C++. It's the printf style. So we need to use the %s is what's going to be dropped in based on the output message. So rather than an actor's name is, we're going to get do something like that, Lab 01. So again, we're using the %s with the, again, a reference, a pointer reference to to the string itself. Just so you know, there is f string, f name. Oh, there's one more. There's three types of strings in Unreal. F string, f name. So f name is basically, think of object names. So what I should have done is made a actor reference. Again, what's the problem with the Unreal documentation is that it's assuming you know more than you really do. And that's going to be one of the. This is, again, we're going to have to deal with that on a regular basis. But let's keep going on. Bool. We'll copy that. UE log. And you will see that in a lot of Unreal examples, they will name their variables with a B, the booleans with a B in front of it. This is from what's called Hungarian notation. So B is active, B this, and that's something that you'll see. For our purposes, we're just going to go and we'll display message. In this case, they needed to. So basically, if this is true, and this is, again, this is the tertiary operator. So this is Boolean, your Boolean operation. After the question mark is what's true, and then there's a colon, and after that is false. So this is obscuring a lot of code. So what they're doing is they're taking the Boolean, they're basically shoving it into a string. Let's move on. Here's the integer version of that. And I'm just going to grab the name integer value example, and I'm going to put this, actually I'm going to go the other way. So int range, I'm going to go back. There you go. So it's more the bool int range value is int range. And this is actually a good place where one of the things I want you guys to do in that, let's just grab these. We'll display message if we'll log message, and then if log other data. I might as well just do this right now. You can see this. All right, so here is the output message. That's what this Boolean is doing here. And then everything else, come on. And I can take these out. Again, I was just making sure I was copying the variables correctly. So basically I can turn, basically what the purpose of those booleans is so I can turn things on and off. There's a float. Let's copy the full. And then we can go jump back to here. And I am violating, so we'll go back to .h. We will then grab this and bring this up. And then finally, we're going to do one more, F. And we'll do a vector 3. Back. I may be not using the correct one, but will. Yeah, it's just that vector. And we're going to grab just the directional vector. So it's the, so again, with these, we needed to use we need to use, we needed a pointer to the, to an instance of it in order to get as access. And we're just basically, and then again, with the vector, we're converting it to a string. So we can do, for an integer, we can $D, percent $D for the integer, percent $F for a float, and then we have to convert other things to strings to output. And then we will compile. There we go. So it's compiled again. We'll press. I'm actually going to take out the C++ version. I'm going to use just use this one, and then we can go to. There is the log temp, and you can see here is. Let me just clear this. Where's the clear? Clear log. Let's run this again. And you can see here, hello world, greetings program. These were all warnings. So bool will display is true, int range is 0, float value is 9001, and it's got the decimal point at the end of it. Vector value, because we haven't set anything in it. Again, we can go in. You can see, again, directional vector. We can, again, X, Y, and Z. We can do like, save it, run it. You can, again, go back into the output log. You can see that it's 111, 222, 33. So far, so good. that's the Unreal documentation. They talk about, we go back to it one more time. They talk about defining your own logs, and yeah, and then they do show you on-screen debug messages. I think. Where's the property? Hold on. Let's go back to your modules. And I've got the Romero version. We're going to go to that one just quickly. Drawing on screen. Boom. Yeah, here we go. So to show a message on screen, you use code. Basically, so if G-Engine add on-screen debug message, what's the information essentially? So let's grab that. And that's going to be over here. And again, we're going to output the output message. So it's going to be, yeah, we'll just grab, we'll grab the whole. Nope. Why didn't you copy? And then we can go back. We can turn these off actually. So we'll, for the sake of argument, we're going to clear the log. We'll press play, and I didn't compile. Oops. Here we go. Where did I? It's one of those. Clear. Cancel. There we go. So it's needed to put this around. This is one of the things you're going to deal with on Unreal, particularly these macros. They do weird things. So basically, I wrapped the macro in its own, essentially wrapped it in its own parentheses. So it did that work. So if I go now, I press play. You can see that, hey, there it's type it. They put in green readings program up in the corner. So basically on in key, basically I'm not, but there's also how long display. So it right now I've got 8 F color, what color, and then a string. So we will put this at 3. Go back and I'll compile. Stop and compile. Live coding will allow you to make changes as the simulation is running. The problem is that it's not saving what you need to disk ultimately. Again, I'll press play, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it went away. So again, the goal of this is just basically is a shakedown of hey, do we have the engine up and running? Can I, again, you've got basically 3 booleans. One will display message on the screen, one will log the message, and one boolean will basically control logging everything else. We've got about different variables: output, message, int, float, range, directional vector. Save that. Again, can we get it to the screen? So G engine, global. So G is for global engine pointer. So can be 0. So don't use without checking. G engine add on screen debug message. Again, we're using a Boolean to control whether we're doing this or not. We've got a Boolean here to control that, and a Boolean here to control this. Again, the goal again is to just basically just a basic shakedown of the engine. Hey, here are variables. Here are the common variables you're going to be using. You'll be using other variables, like again other actor types, refer to other actors, refer to other, we'll worry about how we will do that later on. Right now, I'm just trying to get you to hey, just put some basic things into the log and on screen and know how to do that. If you can do this, then we can start building other things. You can debug, you can help debug by putting information out into the log. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording right here.